Okay, today we're going to finish off hanging the doors. Most people will be starting at this point right here. We started this video off on how to take care of the really difficult issues like retrofitting old doors you get at a salvage yard, or antique doors, different things like that, how to make your own jambs, set those up and fit those. So we already took care of that part. Now we put the door into the jamb that we have. The jamb's cut to size to go into the hole right here. So whenever you hang a door, we've got the edges of the door jamb. Those you want to have as close to flush to the sheetrock as you can on the inside. The outside should be flush to the out. This is an outside door, so it would be flush to the outside. So what we do is we set it up to where it's supposed to be. Hold the inside flush with the sheetrock. Take a nail gun and pin one nail right even with the top hinge. There. As soon as you do that, then you get your level. This 6.5 foot level, had for 40 years. I wouldn't give it up for anything. You take the level and make sure that we get the jamb side completely level. Or plumb. That's the right word. This one needed to go over a little bit. So it looks like the top has to come over about 1/8 of an inch. So with that, we can pin the bottom as tight as we can. Then we'll use shim shingles and fur the top over, straighten the jamb side. Then we go over to the other side and we hang that. So we have the top even with the sheetrock. We need to do the same with the bottom. And even with the sheetrock, it's always good to nail as close as you can to the hinges. Okay, so we got the bottom tight. Now we can check plumb once again. Have to adjust that just a little bit with shim shingles. If you have a large gap, shim shingles typically taper from thin to thick. If there's a large gap, you put thin to thin, you slide them together. Small gap, you just use one. Commonly jambs are not in real square, so that's something you always got to figure. This one is, there's a little more gap on the inside, which is pretty common. One side or the other, so we're going to just gently knock a shim shingle in. And that's pretty close to dead level right there. The next thing that you do is you close it and you make sure that all your gaps are going to be good. And once that looks good, we can go ahead and finish nailing the jamb side. Got to make sure it's straight all the way, so check this level to make sure that the center has to come out just a little bit, so a little bit more shim shingle there. You want to check top and bottom to make sure that the jamb doesn't bow. That's good right there. Now we close it and make sure the gap is good in the top. We've got to bring the top over just a bit. So another shim shingle. This isn't going to be heavy, which things commonly don't do what you want them to do. So when that's the case, it's pulling the hinge part away from the jamb. So when that's the case, you're going to set the hinge with at least one screw, maybe two. Hold this away some, so I've got to knock that back in. A little bit too tight. I'm going to put 2 screws in there. I want it to stay. Okay. So that pulled all that where it needed to be. Okay, so now we're going to make sure the face of this is even with the face of the jamb. And looks like the doorway is off, so we got to knock it out. This corner up here is sticking out quite a ways. So what we do is we go the opposite of it. Bottom corner, knock it in. Top corner, knock it in. Bottom corner out just a little bit. And that took care of almost all of it. Come right here. It's screwed, that's why. Okay, that's good. So with that, the corners we moved. We'll add another nail. Then to cut the shim shingles off, you take a utility knife, score it a couple of times, and then you can just break them off. Okay, so that's all done. Got one more on the inside. Then when you go to do the trim, header goes on first, always. So we measure from inside of jamb to inside of jamb. That's 32 1/4. I want a 1/4 inch reveal on this. So that means 32 3/4 to the inside of the angles. Cut those at a dead 45, and then we adjust the other ones to it. You can tell I like to hold the nail gun in between my legs. That way I have both hands free to work with what I need to. Adjust this so that up, down, sideways, all your gaps are where you want them. Pin one side. And the other side. Once that's done, we can nail it. So the jamb's even. You got to have this piece solid. Okay. Now when you cut the sides, we're going to cut these. That one's 84. That one's 83 and 13. We're going to cut these about 3/8 long, and that way we got room to fudge those around. And I'm going to take you outside to show you how to tweak these joints. Okay, so the first cut you do to check things out is you make it 45 degrees and flat. Check and see as you push it in what that's going to look like, and man, that's really close. The inside of that gap is just a hair loose, so I'm going to change the angle just a little bit. Okay, I changed that a 1/2 inch, or a 1/2 degree, and the angle looks perfect. Now we're a little bit long. When you get your length, you turn it upside down. Lightly touch the tip of the floor, roll it in so you got your finished edge. Take your utility knife across the header, make a mark, and we cut that off square. You want to nail your trim on about every 16 inches coming down. And this is really lining up good, so I don't have to really adjust this side at all. Now we got that side. Double check the length right here. It's 84, so we'll make this one 84 3/8. Well, that looks about perfect. When we get everything lined up. So, I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter. And that's going to work. So we turn it upside down. Mark the length. I'm running into here is a light switch cover. It's going to hold the trim out. So I can either cut the back side of the trim or score the light switch cover, which I just did the other one. Score it, cut it, and then the light switch cover will butt perfectly onto the trim. Score mark is good. You can use your foot to move your trim in and out. Before I pin this together, I've got to grab the other nail gun and use a pinner and stick a pin in each corner, and that really knocks those together. One thing we didn't have to do with this trim, because it worked out right, is commonly when you do the corners, they'll tilt in or tilt out, and you have to adjust those by putting nails or real thin pieces of wood on the fence of your saw, so you can tilt your trim back and forth like this, and you can also back cut it with a belt sander to leave the face. But we didn't have to do any of that with this one, so it's worked out really good. So hopefully that helps you out. We'll see you next time. If you like this, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. We'll be back with more. Thanks.